Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move on to game number 4 between Polt from TSL and HerO from Team Liquid. Let's go ahead and jump into it and watch these players battle it out. In the bottom right-hand position, we have as the blue Protoss Liquid HerO. Top left-hand position, we have Polt Prime as the red Terran. This is Entombed Valley. It is a Blizzard map that has been slightly altered. I am aware that GSL uses it.
I see. Very interesting. I did not know that, so that's cool to know.
But what do you think of this particular map, man?
I've never played it. I've played it maybe once or twice. I then proceeded to veto it because I figured no tournaments would use it.
Yep.
Just because most Blizzard maps, well, I can't say most Blizzard maps aren't used, but the recent trend is now to not use the newer Blizzard maps. So that's kind of a cool surprise that this one is being used. Maybe I'll try it out. I have actually played quite a few games on it now that I think about it, but mostly only just in the ladder before I vetoed it. It's a nice map, though.
Yeah, it isn't in the NASL map pool. I actually didn't like it, so I said, don't think so. But it is being used for this, especially for the Korean players, because they want to be training on the GSL maps, and this was actually taken directly from the GSL. All these maps are actually taken from the GSL maps, so that they can, sort of train at the same time and be able to do this great show match for us. But I'm really interested to see, wow, Liquid HerO actually going up to 14 supply and not getting a gateway, so we will expect some sort of fast expansion Nexus first. So just going very economic centric in this early game stage.
Seems that way. I think it's a good choice. I think it's nice to be able to kind of switch it up. He's played standard 3 times in a row. Hasn't really worked that well. Sometimes you need to kind of take a chance, especially if you have another build that works well. And this is just this is kind of a riskier build, I would say, but I still like the idea behind it.
Precisely. Especially on a map like this. Now, the rush distances can be pretty close. I'm not sure if this is only cross positions, but it could be very difficult to actually stop this. And no, it's not going to be only cross positions. I didn't think so. But this could be a little bit risky, especially on a map like this. There could be definitely a lot of different pushes that could happen. A 2-gate, a 1-gate pressure will definitely do very well on this, but he doesn't have to worry because Polt is actually going for a gasless fast expansion. And this is probably the standard as well on this map. I think going any sort of pressure, you're not really going to beat the huge set, or the majority of the huge set of Protoss builds that could exist. So going for just a gasless fast expansion, very, very standard by Polt. And why fix it if it isn't broken?
Yep, if it's done really well for you, there's no real need to change it. However, I will say, again, if we're going off build orders, the lucky build order that Polt should have went for is probably some sort of early 2-rax pressure.
Yes. And
it just would have flat out won the game at some point here. But with this sort of just standard play, I do like that from Polt as well. It just kind of is letting HerO do this kind of different build and getting away with it.
Yep. And it looks like he's just going to take up normally. He is getting 2 gateways in this early game stage. Cybernetic score is almost finished. And on the opposite side, we do have the ever so standard Polt getting the double barracks at this point. He will be adding on double reactors, or double refineries. And he is going for I'm sure, the tech-oriented type of route. Now, do you think engineering base, or do you think factory? Well, he's shown factory tech every single time. I think he'll do factory. Personally, I think that is fine. It's just different variations, as different styles of Terran. We see Thorazane, and he's like the greatest example in my opinion, just because he always has builds centered around getting your upgrades. He always goes for these 8-minute +1 timings, where I'll have the +1 attack in time for any sort of early game harassment. The super all-ins. Whereas, of course, Polt is going for just the medevac, which gives you a lot more mobility. It actually gives you the ability to get thirds a lot faster, which I like as well.
I see. Yeah, it's just a very interesting play here with this kind of little push out, dealing with these little Marines.
Yeah, nice little advantage actually for Polt. He's able to take this center control, and obviously it's pretty critical, because taking the center control actually enables you to see any sort of all-in coming. What are we seeing from HerO at this point? He's actually going for 2-gate robo, and adding on another gateway. He hasn't really shown anything out of the ordinary just yet, so he's playing standard after this, but he has a supercharged economy. That's pretty important to know.
Yeah, definitely. It's just kind of, again, fairly even here. Maybe that slight possible advantage to HerO because he got his second Nexus up so early, but I feel like that's almost unimportant because Polt did get his up as well very, very early. And I feel like Polt, again, has a little bit more scouting information. He's seen the Stalkers, whereas the only thing that HerO has seen was the Marines. Pretty much anything could be coming from behind this. I mean, I guess from both players. So it'll be interesting to see what they both decide to go tech-wise.
Yeah, I think HerO assumes that his opponent has gone for an expansion just because he sees supply depots in the front. Now, he doesn't know exactly, but I mean, if you're doing a 1-1-1, you're probably not going to be seeing supply depots in front, although that's going to be a great mind game that I'll probably tell people to use. That's going to be so sick, right? You see supply depots in front, all of a sudden a 1-1-1 comes your way, and you have a build order that's not prepared at all. But for now, everything is just going to lean towards, I think, HerO's favor. Just because, as you said, he got the faster Nexus. Income tab is showing 47 to 39 harvesters, now 47 to 41. So a slight little advantage in harvester count. Of course, that's going to be negated a little bit by those meals. But what's important, as I time and time again say, this four gas, the quick 4 gas will help HerO so much. I think that's one of the most important things. When do you get your 4 gas in this matchup? Because if you get your 4 gas early, that does give you a lot of capabilities. And we see triple immortals right now. I think we're gonna have immortal bust.
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks similar to like an MC build. MC did this in GSL recently, where he just went to 3 immortals and macroed up with a lot of sentries. Actually, kind of, yeah, just a lot of sentries. Maybe I think he went instead of 2 of these stalkers, another sentry, something like that. This will be very interesting. It's definitely a bust, just like you said.
Yeah. And it's just going to be Zealot, Sentry, Immortal at this stage, and I think it'll do very, very well. We'll see where he actually goes. I think he has to actually go in this front. There's only 1 bunker here. That's going to help out so much. Normally, to beat a style like this, you actually have to go something like, you know, multiple bunkers. But, oh, wow, Polt is actually going to meet his opponent out in the field. This is not going to turn out well. Stim is going off. He picks up all the units. A really nice pickoff, but look at how many units are still alive. Polt lost so much DPS from that. Again, being force field, just picking off a single Marauder and a couple Marines right there. Polt has to back up all the way. This is a great position for HerO.
A huge deal as well is that Polt doesn't have his combat shields done yet. It's been 10 minutes in and he still doesn't have that combat shields because he chose to just kind of tech up a little bit quicker, and that's really not going to pay off. It's really almost going to pay off for HerO choosing this. If he had combat shields, I feel like he maybe would have lost 1 or 2 less Marines. And he would be in a much safer position to hold here, where as HerO maybe even just maybe he saw a Marine has 45 health and is now choosing to go and attack HerO to make this an all-in. Although I do think with the amount of mortals, it was definitely decided a lot earlier.
4 immortals right now. This is going to be it. SCV is being pulled off the line. The Sentry force fields are pretty good. He's able to actually box out those SCVs from getting too far in. He doesn't want those SCVs to completely surround. In the meantime, he's just going to back up right here. I think that's the correct decision. Wait for more Zealots, which are your tanking units, and then go in for another wave. Yeah,
there's just not that many attacking units here for Polt. He has 6 medevacs, so if they can get the energy up and if he can hold, he'll be in a fine situation, but it's going to be that hold that's going to be really tricky, especially because he only has 5 barracks here.
Oh, HerO, you need to be careful with your immortals. He actually gets 2 picked off right there.
3?
Oh, 3. Yeah, you're right.
Wow. Yeah, that was definitely a game-changing, possibly game-ending mistake from HerO. Just really going in without the rest of his army, without force fields nearby. That's definitely going to definitely switch the dynamic around for sure.
Yeah, but you know what? The turning point I think for Polt was the fact that he got his +1 out in time, and let me tell you that +1 helps so much. It actually increases your DPS by a huge fraction. When you're going up against Zealots, especially with Guardian Shield, they have 3 armor, it feels like. So instead of dealing 3 damage, doing 4 damage. That's a 33% increase in just your Marines alone. That's quite considerable. It's a little bit less for the Marauders, but still, I mean, that's the stuff you need. The +1 represents so much power in defending that push.
Yep, definitely. And it'll be interesting to see if HerO can deal with this push and he's at 1-1 himself. We'll just have to see. He doesn't have charge quite yet, which is kind of a little bit tough. And Polt managed to pick off a few workers, which is also very good, and now he's just going to kind of move back. I like this play from Polt. He already has his 3rd command center up too. Polt's just playing really, really nice this series. I've been very, very I'm just impressed with his calm under pressure and just his ability to keep going just on this very, very set standard amount of units.
You know, it hasn't been anything like, as we were talking about before, it hasn't been anything super, super crazy, right? It's just been overall solid play, and that's what we talked about in the pre-show. He hasn't done anything that, like, I would say is revolutionary or anything, but it's just like he makes the right decisions. He plays very strong. He has a good macro. He has good multitasking throughout all that. He was able to get his command center up. He got his 3rd rolling. He got his macro going. It's just overall amazing play, and we're seeing that. We're seeing that carry him through this particular series. He's been doing so well. Now loading up 2 medevacs. He has a ton of medevacs. Holy crap, 8 medevacs out in the field. And it looks like he's going to do multi-pronged harass.
Yep. We'll just have to see how it works. And again, for those of you who are watching, I definitely think if you're looking for just very, very safe Terran builds, Polt definitely is showing some very safe, just sound builds that lead into a very good mid-late game. So feel free to try some of these out. I think these look very good. Protoss, you know, as well. These are very good transitions into other things, but it's just really tough. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. This is beautiful too.
Nice little factory. The drop in the back here looks like it's going to be engaged upon. The Zealots are going to be too much. He needs to back up. Meanwhile, he does nothing with his front force. I don't think that, or excuse me, I think that was correct. He couldn't really do anything more, just because how many units there are. The sentries there, and HerO behind all this is going to get his +2, and he's churning that out with those chrono boosts. He's going to have it hopefully before his opponent, who only has +2. No, he's getting +2 as well.
Yep, pretty even game here, despite the early kind of mistakes from both players, I guess. Maybe not mistakes, maybe just opening build orders. And then HerO's one mistake of losing those Marauders.
Well, 4 ghosts on the way out right now. That's going to help so much with for Polt. Polt obviously will be able to eliminate all the shields from those Immortals and the Sentry energy, and that represents most of the supporting cast role of this army composition, or support and the DPS, I should say. So we'll see if he's able to get anything done with that, with those particular ghosts. In the meantime, a 4th base has been taken for Polt, and we might have a little bit of engagement in the middle here. Both players are at max supply, 197 to 196.
Yep.
And 2-2 just finished.
This could end the series if Polt manages to win here. It's over. HerO looks like he has a nice composition, but he has no Colossus, which might actually be okay considering there are a few Vikings out on the field. That they're kind of wasted units, basically. I will be very interested to see how these EMPs go off and how HerO splits his sentries, his Immortals, and his Templar. I think that's what it's all going to come down to. It's just the micro of this one fight in the center.
There we go. Guardian Shield is popped immediately. The EMPs are actually able to go off, but nice force shields before it actually happens, trapping all the units inside, and then he storms directly on top of that. Is it going to be enough? That's the big question. The Zealots are actually dwindling in number, and now the lines have been drawn. It looks like the Terran will have to back up at this point, but he's just stutter-stepping a little bit here and there. The Immortals are barely alive at this point. They don't have any shields. And wow, Polt is going to be cleaned up. HerO is going to take that battle. In the meantime, there is a drop in the back here. Mostly Marauders, though, and the Zealots do super well against that. A big round of Stalkers are going to come in here, blinks forward, and eliminates those medevacs from actually leaving. So a big win for HerO, in my opinion. Clearing up both of those attacks and maintaining his Immortal count, that's going to help so much more when the next battle actually happens, because he will have continued Immortal counts. He'll be able to do a lot of damage, and I think possibly win out the next battle a lot more decisively.
Well, it's a very good game so far, and just like I like what you were saying, where it's very important to keep these Immortals alive. You'd rather have an Immortal as a supply than a Stalker, at least against this composition. Yeah. Usually. So in this case, it's very good that he got to keep them alive. And we'll have to see that. Well, they're also amazing at killing planetary fortresses.
Yep, let's go ahead and see the planetary fortress under attack. The Stalker line needs to actually back up because Marines and Marauders are pushing forward. It looks like High Templars are over here. Can he get a good storm? Yes! Oh my god, perfect storm. He's actually able to get him right as they stim. Another great storm is going to pop up right there. And you know what? HerO, he's going to take complete control of his game, it feels like. These Marine Marauders are so weak. All he needs to do is start feedbacking these medevacs, and he'll be in a great position where his opponent's army can't do anything at all.
Yep, this is very nice. I wouldn't even mind HerO being more defensive with this. I don't really feel like he needs to be in the center until he's maxed out, but it's not a bad deal to do this.
He has to be very careful. The Ghosts are approaching up here.
Yeah.
They're actually sniping off a couple of High Templars. We do have, it looks like just one Ghost, or excuse me, one High Templar that is in a position where it doesn't really have any capabilities to do anything. He could have actually merged that into an Archon, but no, he's not going to do that. And, you know, Polt actually has to be careful because this army is really tiny.
Yeah, it's not as big as HerO probably thinks it is. Just the medevacs make up such a huge portion of it. If they get feedback,
exactly.
it's really just going to just fall apart. HerO's actually trying really hard to get this 3-3 finished, and Polt is as well. His 3-3 will be a little bit slower, though, I think, if the chrono boosts apply.
Yeah, so
well, even if not.
A slight timing here, where he has 3-3 and his opponent does not. It's going to be right now. The shield's just finished. We're gonna
Two dropships go right above the stalkers of HerO.
Ooh.
HerO's moving in from 3 directions. I like this.
Yes, I do too. It makes it really hard to actually EMP all the units. There's the EMP that goes on. Looks like the Archons, the Immortals are going to get in here. Wow, the Zealots are just rampaging forward. It actually feels like there's Zerglings at this point because how fast they're actually surrounding his opponent's army. He is constantly kiting, but now he has to worry about all of his medevacs being exposed. In the meantime, there is a drop of 8 Marauders over here. Zealots should be warped in very quickly, and that should be able to take care of it very easily. Planetary Fortress is under attack at this position. Nice storms go off. Every single Marine Marauder is going to go down.
Beautiful storms. It's just very nice to save those storms until then. And while Polt's drop is doing very well, HerO's army is kind of continuing to grow, and Polt's army died pretty much. So definitely a huge advantage for HerO at this point.
Yeah, and through all that, I mean, HerO looked like he was in a bad position in the start. I mean, Polt was getting a lot of map control, especially with those drops, the continued drops and everything. But now, oh my God, look at that. The drop is going to continue again here. Archons are going to be merged right after they actually feedback every single one of those medevacs, or both of those medevacs, I should say, rather. And right now, HerO is just going to mass up again. I think he's just waiting for all of his units to concrete, and as soon as that happens, he'll be able to push up onto this Planetary Fortress.
Yep, definitely looking very good for HerO here. Polt, I don't really know what he could do here to come back. Maybe perfect EMPs, but I don't see that many, or that many, I mean, I don't see any ghosts at all. That is definitely not the situation he wants to be in. This PF's going down so quickly as well.
And to power those Immortals, of course, and the Archons do quite a bit of damage. High Templar Storms are going to drop a little bit here and there, forcing the units to actually back up. The Zealots and the Archons are actually closing in very fast. You can see Polt is actually going to lose all of these units over here. The medevacs actually get picked off. There is a drop coming, but it's going to be GG. Polt's going to fall for the first time, and HerO will take his win, putting himself on the scoreboard. So it is 1-3 right now in favor of Polt, but what a great TVP on Entombed Valley right there.
Definitely. It was very nice. Good play. Just kind of a very close game that went HerO's way this time. Yeah,
definitely. And you can see HerO switching up, actually proving to be very profitable. So hopefully we see that again next game. We're going to jump into the 5th game in a little bit. It's going to be after this break, so don't go anywhere, guys. More Polt versus HerO action coming your way.